Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Massive Darkness 2 Upgrade Pack Part 2. So this is upgrading all of the monsters and heroes from Massive Darkness 1 into Massive Darkness 2. So if you owned those games, you can now bring all your miniatures over and you can play with them. If you don't own them and you still are interested in this pack, you can always just substitute a different character or miniature for the model and still use all the card effects at least. So you don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars to try and collect everything if you don't really want to. This was part of a Kickstarter campaign though, so you're going to have to pick it up at a retail store that also backed the Kickstarter or possibly secondhand through eBay for a little bit expensive. So checked out part 1. We went through all the mobs and all the roaming monsters, but the video is getting a little bit long, so we decided to break it up into part 2 where we will go over the bosses and the rest of the heroes and any other components for this set. So that's what we're doing in this one. Now, if you recall from Massive Darkness 1, there were no bosses in that set, so they added some of the roaming monsters from this game became bosses. Roaming monsters became bosses now, so you can play as them either way. So, like, here's the Heliphant. He does it. I'm going to show miniatures from Massive Darkness 1. This box does not contain any miniatures, though. It only contains the cards. I just thought I'd show them off, go with them. So here we have our Heliphant. And she'll kind of just hang out up here. But it's a little bit too big to be in the screen of the card. So, the bosses are going to have... if you are going to play as a boss, you got to pull up their roaming monster version, so you're not fighting them twice. But it describes that in the campaigns in the set, so they have campaigns in here for when you need to summon them. Alright, so if we're looking at our top corner of our boss, we'll have our regular information. 20 health per hero. Lots of level 10 roaming monsters have somewhere between 15 and 17 health. So they're not terribly far off from a boss, but they don't have all the other cool effects. She has 4 blue and 2 black defense dice in magic range. She has 1, 3, and 2. Combat, 1 claw. Attacking or defending hero discards 1 mana. So this kind of goes with the same thing he did before. So his activation is once per turn. He gets to roll 2 black dice. On 0, flame throwing Proboscis. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this a little bit more. There we go. The Heliphant. Place the Heliphant in the central zone. All heroes discard 1 mana and take 2 fire damage. Or 2 fire tokens, rather. He gets a 1, he gets Mana Hunt. Place the Heliphant in the zone of the hero with the most mana. Attack that hero. If it is your shadow zone, it attacks with its plus claw. So it just uses its claw ability. And then artifact off. It puts the Heliphant in the zone with the artifact with the most mana. Discard all mana from it and flip it. In the next hero phase, flip it back without generating mana. Then attack the hero with the most mana in magic range. So this has to deal with his quest. So that's the only, maybe the downside of the bosses is... they seem to be tied into their tiles and what they can do on their tiles, so you can't just add them into any random game. So you can start creating your own games, but you still gotta follow some specific rules for their abilities to work properly. But his track down there, he's gonna gain a bunch of mana, so his mana break X. A hero attacking must spend X mana to perform an attack against the Heliphant. Where X is how much he has to spend. So 2, 2, 3, 3, or 4. And when he's eating your mana all the time, that's going to make it even harder to beat. Alright, so that was our Heliphant. Again, I love that they made these one-sided. Or at least some of these. Alright, our next one up is definitely a fun one. We have the Cyclops Duo. So we're going to get the Rockbreaker Cyclops and the Shield Maiden Cyclops. So we're gonna get a fight 2 big giant nasties. Alright, so what do their stats say? So they have separate health, because there are going to be two separate figures on the board, but 12 health per player, but their attacks are kind of the same. So we'll have defense, 5 blue, 1 black. Their attacks, they have melee, 3 yellow, 1 melee and ranger, well, 3 yellow, 1 orange, and 1 black die. Combat with 1 claw. Deal 1 wound to the closest pillar unless the hero takes a wound. After a Cyclops is killed, another one gains +2 actions for the rest of the quest. Oh, crazy. So, like, when you're fighting them normally, they have 1 action per turn each, but if one of them dies, now the other one gets to act 3 times. So normally you're doing 2 each. So they're going to roll their 2 dice. If they get a catch, place the Cyclops in the closest hero zone and attack them. Place the Cyclopses. It's weird because here you got Cyclopses with an E, and then there they just have it with an S. Place the Cyclops in the closest hero zone and attack them. After the attack, place the hero in the other Cyclops' zone if possible. So place 1 Cyclops in the hero zone and attack them. After the attack, place the other Cyclops. Place the hero in the other Cyclops' zone if possible. So he grabs them, he attacks them, he throws them to the other guy to attack them there. Crush. Place the Cyclops adjacent to the furthest pillar. Perform a rage roll. Deal 1 wound to each attack to that pillar. And then smash. Place the Cyclops adjacent to the closest pillar. Perform a rage roll. Deal 1 wound to each sword to that pillar. And then each hero on the same tile. Rage roll is X yellow, X orange dice. The amount of dice used for the rage roll. So basically, in their quest, you must be trying to destroy pillars. To like maybe topple the dungeon. I'm not really sure. You have to look at their actual quest to see what it says. Where is their quest? I will back past the lava and crystal sets. So, find the traps, collect the bear trap stashes, kill the Cyclopses, kill both, and destroying the dungeon is how you have to do it. And then the pillars are inaccessible to this map. They represent the cave structures the Cyclops are destroying. Each pillar has 4 health, and the Cyclopses can wound them with their abilities. Once a pillar loses its health, it is destroyed. A destroyed pillar zone is inaccessible. Face down layer artifact tokenized as a reminder. If all pillars are destroyed, the quest ends. So they have these special pillar zones that they're trying to get into. Interesting. Alright. So that is theirs. Alright, then we have 1-ish more boss. So we have the Dark Emissary. So this is this little guy here. So we get a little tinier guy. I mean, there's bigger guys that they could have used. There was eviler guys. Lily Arch would have been cool. Alright, so he has 15 health per hero. 5 blue, 1 black defense. His range is ranged attack and melee. He has 2 yellow, 2 orange, and 1 black. Combat with a claw, deal 1 unavoidable damage, and he heals for 3. Interesting. So his actions are Devour Evil, activate the Dark Emissary using the roaming monster it consumed. When rolling claws during this attack, use the roaming monster ability. So he's going to consume a roaming monster and then use its ability. Alright, Dark Magic. Place the Dark Emissary in the zone of the hero with the most health and attack it with +1 black die. And Dark Siphon. Place the Dark Emissary in the portal zone. Then deal wounds equal to the number of heroes distributed amongst all heroes as they wish. Move each hero onto a portal zone by 1. and then place one green symbol, which I'm not sure which one that's supposed to be, on the portal back onto the artifacts. Must be distributed equally as possible. Must be a corruption symbol. Devouring Change. Draw another roaming monster from the one set aside to replace the current one. Alright, we have to look at this guide for fighting him because he's going to have some special stuff. Otherwise, I don't understand what is going on. Alright. Kill the 3 stages of the Dark Emissary, including the final boss fight. Special Rule 3. This quest is separated into 3 stages. All the heroes may move deeper into the Dark Emissary's lane, so there's some staircase. The Dark Emissary is represented by the Abysmal Demon. During set aside all Abysmal Demon roaming monster cards from the deck. Some of them are used for special spawns. Stage 1. At the start of the quest, spawn a level 3 to 4 Abysmal roaming monster indicated zone. When the heroes manage to kill it, they each get 10 XP. Stage 2. Set the Stage 1 Abysmal Demon is killed. Spawn a level 5 Abysmal Demon indicated in the Stage 2 zone. When they kill it, they get 15. Stage 3. Start the boss fight. The Emissary's topmost passive ability is active at the start of the quest, but only starts performing regular activations after its chamber has been revealed. Do not resolve door cards for chambers. Alright, so he gets that. Well, chambers, yep, we know all that stuff. I'm trying to figure out where is this stuff about devouring things. When this ability is activated, the Dark Emissary executes the activation process step of the roaming monster he consumed. Use the attacking defense dice from the Dark Emissary's boss dashboard and the consumed roaming monster in its combat resolves. Okay, so place 1 corruption token per hero in each artifact zone. Shuffle level 5 cards from the following roaming monsters: Giant Spider, High Troll, Hellhind, Ogre Mage, and Liliard. So all the ones from the base game. Draw 1 card, place it next to the boss dashboard. This is the monster the Dark Emissary has consumed. Then perform a level up phase immediately and start a new hero. Okay, so he gets to eat one of the other main guys. Interesting. And then when he uses the abilities. Okay, that's cool. I like that they also only used characters from the main game. So like, if you bought maybe just Massive Darkness, but you didn't buy like Kickstarter stuff, he's not required to use them. And I'm sure you could adjust it later on to do it however you want. Now, he also has a second form, which is called Campaign Mode. So this is the same, lots of the same stuff, he just gets better stats. Now he has 30 health per hero, this is higher defense because he's in campaign. So he gets the green dice, he gets the red dice for attacking, he can heal 6. Otherwise, all the rest of his stuff looks about the same. But that's kind of neat that they gave him a campaign mode version. So if you were playing this all the way through a campaign, you'd be upgrading your guys. You'd actually have a harder level to fight. So it kind of then works with against like the Heavenfall campaign bosses as well. So that's cool. So we get technically 4 bosses. Otherwise 15 per hero makes him not much bigger than a roaming monster. Alright, those are our bosses. Let's look at all of our heroes. If you want to know how a hero class plays, you will have to check out the various videos. Either it's part 3 of the Hellscape base set, which talks about all the heroes from that, or it's each individual hero versus monster set. Because I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining I'm not going to spend any time explaining how they work. We're just going to go through them. So these are all the characters and their minis from Massive Darkness. So we have Bajorn, who's a Berserker. 7 health, 2 mana, take 1 wound. Roll 1 yellow die and deal wounds equal to the number of attacks and mana rolled to 1 enemy in your zone. Nice. Berserkers like to take damage. And Shadow. +3 swords and gain 3 rage. Nice. So he's going to do some good good attacks there. Alright, then our next Berserker is we got Mila, who has 5 health and 2 mana. During your turn, roll 1 orange dice, gain rage equal to the number of swords rolled once per round. Shadow, spend any amount of rage to ignore that many defense dice. So she just builds up her rage and then dodges attacks. Very, very cool. Alright, then we have Little Berserkers. Now, these guys, if you're familiar with Massive Darkness 1, or if you watch my video on it, they don't have the same classes. So they got rid of all of the original classes, which were like Sorcerer, Blood Moon Assassin, Nightshade Runner, and a couple other ones. I think he was, and like he was a Bone Crusher. And they're all being adopted as best as they can. They tried to keep their abilities as similar as they could from the original one, that they'd still fit in the class. But there's of course some updates because of the new shadow abilities. There's the mana on the characters. And I will do a comparison video at some point once I have all the content from Massive Darkness 2. I'm still waiting for a couple of boxes at this point. But once I get everything, I will do a comparison between the two games, so you can kind of see what the difference are and what they want, and there I'll show the differences between all these different character cards as well. So here we have, at this little Ned, who's one of the bad guys kind of going over, 8 health, 1 mana. At the start of your turn, you may take 1 wound. Your melee attacks have range 0 to 1, and your melee attack gains +1 sword. Shadow, you may spend 2 rage to double your attack or gain 2 rage. Why would you spend 2 rage to gain 2 rage? Not really sure on that. But that's alright. So that is our 3 main Berserkers. And I say that like that for a reason. So now we're going to look at our Tinkerers. Normally, I would just go in a row, and I'd go like through all the base game, and I'd do all the stuff from the expansions. And I'm not doing that for a reason. So here we have Zoe, who's a Tinker. So she has 5 health and 4 mana, which she has defense. After combat, if you take no wounds, gain 1 mana and heal yourself 1. And then Shadow, you may discard 1 item to ignore up to 2 defense dice. So they don't take damage, she can heal. And the reason why I did this like this is because what they did was all the characters are going to have a class that fits into the base game. So again, if you only bought the base Massive Darkness and you didn't buy all the Kickstarter stuff, they didn't want people to I should say the other. For Massive Darkness 2, if you couldn't get all the Kickstarter stuff, they didn't want you to feel like all your Massive Darkness 1 characters were being ignored. So you can play this as either a Berserker or a Tinker. So if you didn't buy the set that has all the Tinker stuff, the Bards and Tinkers box set, you can at least play her as a Berserker. So she has 6 health and 3 mana. It says defense. After combat, if you take no wounds, gain 1 rage and heal yourself. You can see our abilities are very similar to each other. And it says Shadow, you may discard any number of rage. For each rage discarded, gain 1 reroll and heal yourself 1. So either way, Zoe wants to heal herself. Or ignore dice. So that's fun. Then we have Siegfried, the other Tinkerer, who said 6 health and 3 mana, and for each wound you take, gain 1 mana. Shadow, you may discard 1 item to deal +5 swords. That's awesome. Or if we look at his other side, he has 7 health and 1 mana as a Berserker. Combat, take 1 wound to reroll a die, or Shadow, +1 sword for each wound you have already taken. Alright, let's look at our Rangers. So we have Sylvan. Attack +3 swords against roaming monsters. In Shadow, draw and discard 1 arrow. You may ignore 1 die or broken effect for each arrow revealed this way. That's actually pretty powerful. He's going to do very well shooting against Dark. He has 6 health and 2 mana. So he's only just a ranger. And then to go with Sylvan, we have Sybil. Ranged attack. So it's 4 health, 3 mana. So his ranged attack, spend 1 mana to gain 2 swords or Shadow. Draw and discard 1 arrow card. Reroll 1 reroll for each arrow revealed this way. So you can get some extra chances. So there's her card. Next, we're going to have some paladins. So we're going to get Astra. 5 health, 5 mana. Defense 1, spend 1 mana to deal 2 wounds to the attacker. Shadow. After combat, roll 3 yellow die and deal wounds equal to the number of swords rolled for each enemy in a concentrated zone. That is sweet, so you can do a lot of damage. So it's definitely a warrior paladin. Up next we have Owen, who has 6 health, 5 mana. He has defense, just reroll a die. And then Shadow, gain 1 mana and heal 1 for each hero in a concentrated zone. So he's kind of gonna protect himself to be able to go in and do extra damage. Now we have our next classes. We have the Shamans. Alright, so we have Azrael, who has 5 health and 2 mana. You may equip a... Can't see what this... Double-handed. Just from the distance, I couldn't tell what this was. Double-handed weapon and a shield. Start the quest with 1 element in each track, and then Shadow. Flip any element token, or increase any element by 2. Great, so you max out his stuff a lot quicker, which is really fun. He is also a paladin, so if you didn't have the shaman set, you can play him as a paladin. He has 4 and 4 for health and mana. Main ability stays the same. His shadow ability changes though. Actually has a little bit. You may equip a weapon and a shield. Heroes in concentrated zones may use your equipped shield's defense dice. Oh, that's sweet. Very good paladin ability. And then Shadow, deal 1 wound for each defense dice from your equipped items. So then basically, yeah, he's a defender. So we have 1 paladin there that Astra was very attacky, and then we had Azrael, who's defending. It's also neat because 2 guys, Owen and Astra, were yellow or gold armor, and then Azrael and Sarah here have silver armor, so they're probably like opposite classes or factions, which is very neat. Alright, so then we have Sarah, who is a shaman with 4 health, 3 mana. At the end of your turn, increase any element by 1, plus 1 for each other hero in your zone. And then Shadow, add 1 frost and increase any element by 2. So add a frost to your attack and then increase your elements by 2. And then she can flip over to be a paladin as well. 5 health, 5 mana. Action, move 1 hero or enemy from 1 concentrated zone to another. Ooh, a teleport. That's cool. And then Shadow, plus 1 sword for each hero in a concentrated zone. She gets lots of bonuses for putting these on heroes versus enemies. So that is fun. Alright, next class is we have our monks, which we start with Victoria, who are wearing purple. Or she's wearing purple at least, purple in armor. 5 health, 2 mana. Add plus 1 when counting active and discarded chakras, so she gets an automatic bonus. And then Shadow, ignore all black dice and gain 1 defense for each ignored black dice. Oh, that could be crazy for some of these roaming monsters. She could really do some damage. She also flips over to become a paladin, so there's a lot of paladins in this game, and it's just because of the main classes, these are the ones these characters kind of fell more into. So 6 health, 4 mana. Defense, ignore 1 black die. And Shadow, ignore all black die. Healer set by 1 for each black die. So as this paladin, she kind of keeps similar abilities, but she gets just to ignore black dice. She's kind of good there. And then we have Malthus, who has, again, silver armor of purple. Kind of goes with the same class or clan. So this is his paladin side. Let's look at his monk side go first. 4 health, 4 mana. Attack 2 mana. You are in the shadow for this attack. And then shadow, plus 1 mana for each active and discarded chakra. So if you're in the shadow, you can spend 2 to be in the shadow. And then if you roll that shadow dice and you get that vision, you get all your mana back. Which is kind of, I guess, interesting. But you also gain a bunch of extra ones depending on how many you have active. Or we have his paladin. You may bless 1 additional skill per round. That's sweet. And then shadow, gain 2 magic for each concentrated zone in line of sight. So as long as he keeps an eye on his zones, he can gain extra mana. And then 4 health and 5 mana. Alright, our next class we are going to look at are our rogues. Our thieves of the night. So they're going to have all these robes on. So this is Silence. 5 health, 3 mana. All heroes attacking enemies in your zone have attack, defender, -1 shield, and shadow. Ignore 1 die, or spend 1 unused rogue token to ignore any number of dice. So that's cool. Just ignore stuff. Or he boosts up his enemies if they're with him. Just kind of sneak around to do that. And he's just a rogue. To go with Silence, we're going to have Whisper, who's our other rogue. 4 health, 4 mana. After performing a move with a blue token, you may spend 1 mana to perform a free attack with 1+ sword. Or Shadow, flip back a non-green rogue token you use this turn. So you can reuse the green one a second time. That's fun. I love playing around with that little effect of the colors of them tokens, giving them some more meaning. And then she's just a rogue. Alright, our next group are the bards. And this guy sure doesn't look like a bard to me, but he's armored, clad with a red face. It's kind of, again, he's kind of these different factions of characters. This is Sakaris, 4 health and 6 mana. Your melee weapons count as instruments, so you can use swords as instruments. That's awesome. I'm gonna play you my broadaxe, is what he's telling people. Shadow, place or move 1 note. If there are no heroes in line of sight, deal +1 for each different note. That's cool. Gives him a reason to hide in the shadows. Although, but he does become a rogue, which makes more sense for him. 4 health, 3 mana. If there are no other heroes in line of sight, attacks get +2. So if he kind of goes off on his own. And then Shadow, return any number of discarded rogue tokens to the bag, +1 reroll for each returned token. Yeah, so the later on your turn, the more powerful this will be. Get extra rerolls. And then the companion to Sakaris is Valerie, who also gets to be a bard. 5 health, 5 mana. Your instruments count as one-handed and melee instead. So where his lets him turn his melee weapons into instruments, hers lets her turn her instruments into weapons. Such a fun little dynamic there. Shadow, for each different note, ignore 1 wound or 1 black dice and deal 1 wound. And then as a rogue, she has 4 health and 3 mana. Shadow, she defender gets -2 shields, or Shadow ability. Kill 1 defending minion, draw 1 rogue token. You may discard it or keep it aside to draw next round instead of a token from the bag. Just straight up kill a minion. That's awesome. Definitely cool. The one downside about getting all these extra characters, even more than just all the regular ones, is it makes me want to buy a second set of this game so that I can have multiple people play the same classes. So I can have 2 rogues running around, or dueling paladins. Especially if you're playing like a 6-player game, instead of having one person have to each be one of the classes. Because there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 classes. So yeah, it'd be neat to be able to be like, hey, we can have multiple of the same classes, but you can't do that without having multiple of the components. So that's kind of a downside of those. Alright, but we have the wizard class. We have Elias. He looks like our stereotypical wizard, the glowing wand, the sword, very Gandalf-ish. 5 health, 6 mana. Spend 1 mana to roll 1 yellow die and deal wounds equal to the number of swords to 1 enemy in magic range. In Shadow, gain 2 magic, and you may rotate the spell marker to any spell. So if he hides in the shadows, he can gain, basically gets his extra mana back. And then he's just a wizard, nothing else. Then we have new class. We have a Necromancer, Moira. She looks very necromancy, her flame staff or devil horns. 5 health, 2 mana. Take 1 wound to gain 1 soul once per round. Shadow, add 1 fire, and then +1 fire for each threshold reached on the soul track. So she's just gonna burn people and set them on fire. That is awesome. But she can also be played as a wizard if you want more wizardy goodness. 5 health, 6 mana. Take 1 fire token or flame token, deal or roll 1 orange die to deal wounds equal to the number of swords to rogue enemies in magic range. So kind of like Elias's, except he has to spend mana. She just takes damage instead. But then she has Shadow, add 2 fire and gain 2 mana. So his is kind of a way to gain mana and rotate his spells. Her lets her add fire damage. It's interesting. She'll take fire damage, she'll deal fire damage. All sorts of fiery goodness. Our other Necromancer is Ajax, who has 4 health and 4 mana. On move, pay 1 soul to ignore reaction damage. And then Shadow, gain +2 swords, +1 for each threshold on the soul track. So it's kind of like a battle mage almost. Or a battle necromancer, which is really cool. But he can also be a wizard if we need one. 4 health and 6 mana. Spend 3 to flip back 3 mana, flip back 1 Lightbringer token once per quest. Or Shadow, after combat, roll 3 black dice for each claw. Roll, deal 2 wounds, and gain 1 damage. So he kind of uses dark magic, which is really neat. I like that. Although, you know, seeing all these characters be able to be dual kind of also makes me wish that every character had a dual ability. Like, they had the expansion pack, like, hey, all your base characters now get multiple, and all these guys had, you can play multiple classes, because you add some more depth to the character. Like, oh, I really like this character, but I'd like to play them as something else. But maybe that's something fans will come up with. So our last class is the Druid. Which is, there's only 2 other druids. This is kind of neat to get a 3rd druid now. All the other classes have multiple classes now. So now we have even more. So you have Transformation. There's a 5 health, 3 mana. Transformation. Roll 2 blue die, heal 1 hero in magic range for the number of shields rolled. Or Shadow. Ignore all black dice. Increase the track by 1 for each black die rolled. But in case you didn't get the Druid expansion, she can also be a wizard. 4 health, 7 mana. Spend 1 mana. Once per round, roll 2 blue die, heal 1 hero in magic range the number of rolled die. So she can only once per round she can still heal. And then Shadow, ignore all black dice to gain 1 magic mana for each ignored die. So yeah, it kind of plays it the same way your other one does. That one only works off transformation. The other one you can only pay for doing it, but she gets to ignore dice and do stuff. So that is Miriam. So that was our last hero. Alright, so the remainder of what is in this set, besides all the campaign stuff, are campaign cards. So you're going to get a couple for the Crystal and Lava story, and then you're going to get some for the Prologue story. So in Heavenfall, there's also a bunch of campaign cards. So when you're playing through a campaign mode, which is instead of the one shot, which is play this, do that, campaign has you go through, you get to pick and choose what you get to do. You do unlock these campaign cards by doing various things. Some of them might be in each quest, they might tell you to do something, or if you succeed. Other ones are side achievements. For example, if we look at Prologue campaign, there's 28 cards. It says some achievements are, so if you complete 3 side quests, you draw campaign 5. If you kill an agent or roaming monster, you gain card 8. Lose the same quest 2 times, you draw campaign card number 9. So it gives you something to also work towards while you're playing them. But then they also have like win conditions. So in the campaign changes, if you win this first story, you get campaign card number 10. Versus if you do one later here, like this one, say, if you win this reward, draw campaign card 22, and then you get some different experience, and update the treasure bag, and then go to the next quest. So as you complete them, you get different ones. Why they didn't have them just be like, you complete quest 1, you get card 1, you complete quest 2, you get card 2, I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and look at them. So these are spoilers for us. We're going to start with 1 and we'll go on. So these are various extra items and things you'll get for the game. Now you're only going to get one of them, so you have to just determine what character gets them. Alright. So our first one is we're going to get a consumable. It's called the Ring of Braveness, which is going to get you one of these activation tokens. You spend 1 to gain 2 yellow die, or sorry, 2 green defense dice on defense. The Troll Ring, you get 1, and you can spend 1 to heal your hero in your tile by 2. So these are consumed by using these tokens. So I guess if you could mass more than 1 token, you could keep them around for longer. Basically, they're like charges. Ring of Shadow, attack, spend 1 to be in the shadow for this attack. The Ring of Power, spend 1 to gain 1 red dice during your attack. You got something fun like this. This is Guile, the Tavern Keep. He has 6 health, 1 defense, and he has an attack of 2 orange and 1 red. Other heroes in Guile's zone gain defense +1. So he's a little companion ally you get. It's really neat they made these. I don't know for sure if there's more in the Heavenfall campaign. It's like I said, I don't have all my stuff yet because of shipping. But I'm hoping that there's more allies or things. There's always something neat they could add, just little extra campaigns or characters they could have added to the game. We have the Gnomish Gold Sack. During the town phase, remove this item from the game to use the inventor for free. We're also going to get a Herbalist, or Herbalist. So this actually replaces the one on the board, the town board. Gain 1 health or mana potion by spending 2 treasure tokens, or spend 3 to gain 1 endurance or strength token from the common treasure deck. So we got a bunch of items, you got some extra things. They only have 1 of those as well, so I'm hoping there's more, because it's kind of a neat aspect of a way to like update your board. We have Inside Agent. You spare the agent's life and they join you as their companion. Take all their cards. The agent has no abilities. Use their card from the current dungeon level for the attack and defense. Their health is equivalent to 1 hero. They have action, move one mob in line of sight zone once per round. So yeah, basically just take control of one of the agents from this set. That's pretty cool. So there's a special skills. We're also going to get special effects. Lightbringers favor. Start the quest with one extra Lightbringer token. All heroes get combat, pay 1 mana to ignore 1 slash. We could pick up some armor. The Shadow Armor. Defense, in the shadow you get +1 shield. Otherwise you have 1 blue, 1 green die. Special event, Lightbringer's Resolution. All heroes getting in the shadow combat, spend 1 mana to reroll a die. Get another companion here. Black Widow, 5 health, 3 shields, 2 orange dice for ranged or melee attack. Ranged attack gets +1 shadow dice. If you roll a shadow, you add 2 frost tokens. We have the Ice Bow, 2-handed ranged weapon. They keep their rarity on the back too, just for clarification for upgrading and stuff. Spend 1 mana to deal 1 frost. Otherwise, it's 2 yellow for melee, 3 yellow and 1 orange for ranged. Another special skill. We have Firework Craft Combat. Spend 1 mana. You may move the enemy 1 zone. Headhunter. Attack. If you kill a leader or a roaming monster, you may immediately perform 1 extra action with 2 orange and 2 yellow dice. Special skill. We have Hellhound Fire. Defense. Add 1 fire to the attacking enemy. Resolve all fire on them at the end of their activation. The Battle Stave, which I know it's like an orb, but it looks like a spoon. Although I'd love someone to attack with a giant spoon. Attack 1 mana, steal 1 wound, or attack 1 to heal 1 wound, and then range, magic range, 1 yellow, 2 orange. A Magical Charm, you get 3 of them activation tokens. Spend 1 to roll 2 red die, deal wounds equal to the number of swords rolled to 1 enemy in magic range. You can roll a 4 on them, so you could potentially do up to 8 damage. Then we're going to get some legendary equipment. So these are kind of a set item, but they don't work with like the Shadowbane or the Darkbringer sets. They're their own set, but we have King's Crown. This is actually a throwback to Massive Darkness 1 as well. This is a helmet, this is attack, spend 1 mana, ignore 1 shield per equipped King's item. So every time you have another King's item, these cards get better. Then we can get Ancestor's Presence, action. Gain 3 mana or heal 3. We have the Knight's Helmet, this is the other set item. Attack, get +1 yellow, orange or red die per equipped knight's item. May choose a different dice each time. Then we have the King's Armor. Defense, +1 blue die per equipped King's item. Otherwise, that's 3 green dice. We have the Knight's Armor, which would get you defense, spend 1 mana, gain 1 shield per equipped knight's item. 1 blue and 3 green die. We have a Charm of Protection, which is black, which I don't even think is a normal color. Spend 2, or you can't take wounds from roaming monsters outside of combat. Defense, reroll, spend 1 magic, or spend 1 point. The King's Mace can be equipped as a 2-handed item. This weapon also counts as magic and ranged. Attack, magic, return, can be equipped with a 2-handed weapon. Sorry, not as. Spend 1 mana, reroll 1 once per equipped King's item. Otherwise, it has 1 yellow and 1 red. And then we have the King's Complete Set. So while you have all 3 King's items, you are counted as having 4 equipped King's items for your item abilities. So if you have the helmet, the armor, and the weapon, you are technically considered to have 4 items now. And then we have the Knight's Shield. It can be equipped with a 2-handed item. Defense, 1 mana. deal 1 wound to the attacker per equipped knight's item, and then 1 defensive green and blue. And then we have the same thing for the knight's complete set, and you have all 3 accounts as having 4. So it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, those are all campaign modes. Then we have the 2 for the Crystal and Lava expansion, which were a special set off of the original Kickstarter, so they did a little bit separate. So we have the Crystal Affinity. You may spend 1 mana to avoid wounds, taking wounds and frost from all crystal zones. Or you have Lava Walker. You may spend 1 mana to avoid taking fire for ending your activation in a lava zone. So basically just bonuses for doing stuff in those zones. Alright, so that is what we have for that. That is really a lot of stuff, long videos. Just all them cool new heroes, hero cards you can play as, all the new roaming monsters, all the mobs, the new bosses. Again, if you don't own anything from Master of Darkness once, and you can find this upgrade pack somewhere, or if you are looking at buying it, you could definitely still play with everything. Just use a different miniature. Just remember which one's which. But yeah, it could definitely work out really cool for you. I mean, your heroes would be very easy to figure out because you'll have the bases, stuff like that. Just the monsters, make sure you remember what monsters are what. But they all look fairly enough different. It shouldn't be hard to tell apart. Otherwise, there's extra campaigns in here and quests to do. You do need everything from the Kickstarter, though, to fully play this, with the exception of the add-on dice or 3D packs, because it does use the lava tile expansions and all that stuff. Alright, hope to see you guys next video. Bye!